so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people them a say we are mash up the dance. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got the spark, don't put it down, shine your lights on.
Your information is valuable. Think before you share. The time brought to you by the Office of the Information Commissioner is
8 o'clock.
Previously on Small Biz.
We string rackets, we string tennis rackets and badminton rackets. My daughters are very busy. I always try to include them in everything. They're the face of the business.
Tonight on Small Biz, Big Dreams, we meet the next generation behind the business. Twin entrepreneurs turning faith and creativity into a brand. This is Small Biz, Big Dreams. Tia and Tamara are the founders of DNA by the Twins, a business rooted in sustainability, faith, and self-expression. They say the idea grew from their father's recycling efforts, turning discarded tennis and badminton strings into meaningful jewelry.
DNA by the Twins was born out of sustainability and a desire to encourage and inspire others. So, as my father had mentioned before, he has a professional racket restringing business where he restrings tennis and badminton rackets. So over the years, he has been storing up strings, waste strings, basically that are supposed to be thrown in the trash. So one day he presented us with the idea, hey girls, why don't you use these strings to create something meaningful? I mean, the strings have a kaleidoscope of colors, and he presented us with the idea, these can be interwoven in the form of a DNA spiral.
Their signature pieces, DNA inspired earrings and bracelets, carry a message of purpose and individuality. They say each product is designed to remind people that they are unique and created with intention.
So anything we do, we really want to include the Lord. So that it was because of our passion, that's why we actually started this business, right? So we have a passion for sharing the gospel with others through meaningful products.
We have here lovely medals for the kids. So if a child wins a tournament, or even if they came third or fourth place, they could still wear a lovely medal by DNA by the Twins.
Since launching, the Twins have expanded their brand beyond jewelry. They now offer a range of Christian-based products, including t-shirts, journals, children's books, and more, all aimed at sharing positive messages through everyday items.
We have here lovely gift boxes. And this is our premium blessing bundle. It includes a lovely Christian t-shirt, a lovely Christian journal, and it comes with a cute little pen. We also included one of our DNA spiral bead bracelets, as well as a Christian mug that actually matches the shirt and the journal. These are fantastic books for kids. They have a lot of biblical values and good morals in them. So I encourage you to get some for your little ones. We also have badminton t-shirts as well. And this is for our badminton and also tennis market, because we go to a lot of badminton and tennis tournaments to sell our products.
So you can find our jewelry at the Three Things Jamaica stores, Devon House, Norman Manley International Airport, as well as South Camp Road. You can also find us online, our website at www.dnabythetwins.com.
Next week, stay tuned for whichever business we make bloom. Until then, for Small Biz, Big Dreams, I'm Kevin Black.
This week on Farming Forward, we're coming to you from, whoa, look at that, we're coming to you from Riverdale in St. Catherine, and we'll be talking to that young entrepreneur you just saw. He was picking breadfruits, but I can tell you about the chickens that he's been caring for all these years. He'll be talking to us about real yard chickens.
Farming
forward. We're brought to you by Nutrimix. Tell me, Nutrimix. The big feed. The big feed.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
On Small Biz, Big Dreams, we meet two professionals who have turned a shared space into a lasting business built on skill, consistency, and community. This is Small Biz, Big Dreams. For more than 3 decades, barber O'Neill Pony Williams and hairstylist Desreen Walker Cochrane have dedicated themselves to serving generations of clients. They say what began simply as a skill has grown into a true vocation, one rooted in discipline, trust, and consistent hard work.
I'm started barbering like on a veranda. My mommy house, up on the veranda we start the barbering, do the barbering thing until I said, no man, we need a shop now because I start get a whole heap of customer. I teach a lot of youth to trim, you know, them progressive and them reach for them want to reach. And I still do the same thing same way for over 30 years now. I do barbering. Yeah man, and see it, I'm still doing it.
Actually I grew up plaiting dolly here. And from doing that strong and everything I could get to plait, then I started doing real, practice on human. So that's where I started. And then I went to Leon's School of Beauty. And that's where I got my diploma in hairdressing.
For both Pony and Desreen, their craft is more than a service. It's a daily commitment. They say many of their clients have been with them for years, some for most of their lives.
Some of the guys, they never really trust me that much for me to really cut their hair. But after cutting like one of my school friend here, and them say, yes, you can do it, you know. So that was then, the start. Some people start put some trust in me and say, right, then they make me cut them here. And that's how I start cut them here until now. I'm still do it same way. Yeah, man. They have some customer right now, me I trim from me a little baby boy. From me about 14 when I just start out the barbering. Yeah, man, I still trim them same way.
From school days, I know this is what I'm gonna do. Because within me, this is what I really like to do. So I started doing it from then.
Together, they offer a range of barbering and hairstyling services, from haircuts and lineups to braiding, all in one space.
You can get your hair shampoo. You can get a nice lineup. The hairdresser is here too. You can get your facial done, your nails done, all those stuff. So the service is real good.
Cornrows, cutting, styling, crochet, weaving, just about everything.
Their message to anyone coming into the industry is simple. Master your craft, stay consistent, and respect your clients.
Believe in yourself. If that's what you want to do, go ahead and push forward. And by practicing, you're gonna make mistakes along the way. believe in yourself and have confidence and move forward. Believe in your dreams and trust God.
If you like the barbering, do it because it pays and it's a good thing. You understand? Yeah, that's something you can rely on because people are going to always want to cut them hair. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a real good thing. Trust me. If you want to find a barbershop, you have to come to Mount Togo, right at the square of Mount Togo. That's where my barbershop is. And it's Honduras Barber. Yeah. And once you come Mount Togo and you say, we're Pony Barbershop there, you will find it.
Next week, we'll provide another highlight that will make an entrepreneur's night right. Until then, for Small Biz, Big Dreams, I'm Kevin Black.
Tune in to Lead Story, weekdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Jody Ann Quarry.
Watagwan. Watagwan.
Datagwan.
Watagwan.
Watagwan. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
Small Biz, Big Dreams is brought to you by Access Financial Services. Tonight, on Small Biz, Big Dreams, we meet an entrepreneur turning a natural product into a growing business. This is Small Biz, Big Dreams. In 2024, Shauna Lee King Gentles decided to turn her interest in natural hair and skincare into a business. Her brand, A You That Castor Oil, focuses on producing and selling castor oil, a product well known for its benefits for hair growth, skincare, and overall wellness. She says the business started with a simple idea, providing a natural product people can trust.
A You That started from a need. I am a scientist by training, and I realized that Jamaican castor oil has a lot of benefits, but we tend to focus on mainly cosmetics. And I decided that I was going to focus on our overall health and wellness.
Tune in to Lead Story, weekdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Jody Ann Quarry.
My name is Glenn Titus Campbell. CVM. See it happen.
Fan Central Extra Time brought to you by Pepsi.
Full up, match link up, Fan Central full up. Me team win, every bad cover lift up. Them a silly billy, me carry real bad team that a illy billy. Now bandwagon to the thing, now bad a switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty gritty. School silly billy. Now bad a tell me about your team and them that make the semi. Game sweet, girl I call it sugar daddy. CVM TV for everybody.
Static.
Welcome to Brazil. Welcome to Russia. Welcome to Qatar.
Can the fans come in?
No!
Can the referees come in?
No!
Well, can the players come in?
No!
All right, after the final whistle, it's extra time. In fact, it's Fan Central Extra Time right here on CVM TV. Of course, we are covering the greatest show on earth right throughout the tournament, a busy summer of football. And I'm your host, Jordan Fort. And guess what? I had to ditch the not so good looking face of Kimani O'Sullivan for tonight and get a better looking face for you tonight. Rashida Murphy is my co-host tonight, and you'll be hearing a lot more from her a little later on in the show, but of course she will be giving you some better looks than Kimani and maybe some better insight. Who knows, right? All right, on set with us, we also have Coach Jermaine Thomas. Coach Thomas is a coaching educator with the Jamaica Football Federation, an assistant coach with the National Men's Under-20 team, and was assistant coach with the National Senior Women's team between 2023 and 2024. He's also the coach of Malines United Football Club and McGraw High School. Boy, I don't know, you must have more than 24 hours in your day, Coach Thomas. I don't know where you find the time for do so much things. We do have Brent Sancho on Zoom. Brent was a member of Trinidad and Tobago's 2006 World Cup team. He had a major club career in the UK, Europe and North America, and served as Minister of Sport for Trinidad and Tobago. So Brent will be joining us in a short while. He also serves on the FIFA Players Status Committee and works as a player development consultant for CONCACAF. And we will be joined later on Zoom by Victor Stewart, former FIFA referee and former head of the JFF referees department. And as I told you a little later on, Rashida Murphy will be taking us into the fan corner. And she will be sitting down with someone who thinks they know a thing or two about the game of football. All right, so the greatest show on earth, as we said, got underway today with co-hosts Mexico running out 2-0 winners over South Africa in front of a packed Mexico City Stadium. Mexico's goals came from Julian Quinones and Raul Jimenez. But there were plenty of talking points as well. There were 3 red cards in the match, which is an unusual occurrence for a game of this magnitude. So we also want to get into that a little bit later on with Victor Stewart. By the way, we want you to be involved as well in our discussion. We want you to share your thoughts and videos. You can send us on WhatsApp 876-833-0897. That's 876-833-0897, or message on Instagram or Facebook, CVM_television. We're also streaming live on YouTube, CVM TV News. And guess what? This is all powered by our friends at Pepsi. Thank you so much, Pepsi, our major sponsors here throughout the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on Fan Central Extra Time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much. Evening, everybody.
Yeah, all right, these two will be staples on our show, so get used to their faces. Firstly, I just want to start, we're going to talk to, of course, Brent Sancho on Zoom as well, but I just want to start with you, Coach Thomas. So we're now seeing where, the spectacle everybody expected has kicked off. One of the co-hosts, Mexico, starting with a win, 2-0, comprehensive over South Africa. Firstly, was it the result you expected?
I was expecting a little bit more from South Africa, honestly. Watched them against Jamaica and saw them before that, and they looked better. Not sure what happened today, but they never looked so good today.
Yeah.
Never really looked so good today.
Yeah, and I mean, as a coach, you know how it is when you prepare everything leading up to a game, and obviously, preparation would have been in high gear for some time now. For both these teams, heading into such a major tournament. Talk me through, as a coach, when you what goes wrong, what do you try to do to correct what goes wrong when essentially your players just do not carry out your instructions?
Sometimes difficult because groups can be hard to manage. Not easy because of the many different personalities you have to manage, and simple things like one person being late for a meeting, meals not prepared on time. Those simple things can throw off. The coach and somebody might just have a huge disagreement. Some player might have issues with probably somebody starting that he feels that this player should have started over that one, and those are just some of the things that can throw off.
Yeah, well, I don't know what exactly threw off South Africa today, but they did pick up a couple of red cards as well.
Yeah.
I do think, and I want to discuss it a little bit more later on, but I do think that one of them was particularly harsh. The one for the off-the-ball incident obviously took a VAR check because the referee didn't see it. So, but I think you can say they were unlucky there. The first one, I do think it seemed to me was warranted. But again, those things obviously throw your entire game plan out the window because you're down to 10 and then you go down to 9.
Yeah, a bit tricky though, the first one was, if you looked to to the central area of the pitch, the defender, probably the player who got the red card wasn't the last defender. But probably if you slowed it down a little bit and look, you'd have to do that to have an idea what transpired clearly. The second one, I think FIFA, they're on a campaign to really, they want to clean up football. They want to get rid of the things that you are seeing after. So it was a slap in the face, and they are saying, listen, first game, we are sending a statement. We're making players and teams understand that we're about fair and clean play. So come, let us play clean, hard and fair.
Well, you just wonder if this is a sign of things to come. And we spoke yesterday on yesterday's show about the number of rule changes that have been introduced by the IFAB in time for this tournament, and that some players probably going to have a little adjustment period to those rule changes, and we might just see more red cards at least earlier on than we would normally see, and especially just because there's expanded powers now for VAR.
Right.
So they're monitoring everything, and I think players have to be super careful. There is a coaches board beside you, Coach, and I'm going to ask you to step on over to that coaches board, because I want you to give me some tactical analysis of what we saw today between South Africa and Mexico in that opening game. South Africa succumbing 2-0 to the Mexicans. So firstly, I want you to show me how both teams set up, how Mexico in particular attacked South Africa.
All right, this is Mexico, pretty much 4-2. 3-1
with the blue. Mexico is in the blue.
Right. South Africa is in red. They dominated the central area, and even though the systems were similar, but I think Libra and the next older midfielder, I'm not remembering his name now, but both of them 8 and 6, so they played with a double pivot, and they were very, very essential in terms of covering the wing backs when they go. Mainly, they went down this side, where the wing back, he was the one who assisted, provided the cross. All right, for the number 9 to head inside the back of the net, he scored. So they got width here. No, on this side. If the play brought down, then we move across and then provide cover. So the double pivot worked perfectly for them here. They were also very, very aggressive inside the central area, the two holding midfielders. They were really ruthless in terms of closing down, counter pressing and pressing in this central area. The attacking midfielder here, he was crucial to how they attack and also they pressed, because he was making the runs here, through here, and through them spaces. Because what would have happened here, the number 9, all right, this is his 4th World Cup.
Yeah, Raul Jimenez.
Right, Jimenez. He was crucial in combining with the 8, leaving from beside the 6 and joining. So he's very crucial in coming here, which is a 9, coming here, receiving, connecting, passing, and then the space left would have been eaten up by the attacking midfielder or what's his name again that scored the first goal?
Yeah, Quinones,
right. So he would have been operating in the off space, whenever the 9 drops deep. And that created space. Because one of the centre half, when the 9 drops deep here, one of the centre half would normally move and then leave the space here. And then the attacking midfielder would move right into the space. And that created problem for South Africa. They never had a clue in terms of what was going on here. The off spaces were also crucial. Let me go to that very quickly. The off spaces. All right. These areas were very crucial. And for the wing backs, because the right back went up here and joined. This midfielder here pushed high as well. It created problem for the wing back because he was in 2 minds. Do I come inside and mark here or do I stay? No. On this side was the overloaded side for
South Africa,
Mexico.
Okay.
This wing back sometimes join here, and the one that scored the first goal, he also they created the overload here, the one of the pivots coming here. And then the entire back line for South Africa came across, all right? And now he's here occupying this wing back. This midfielder pushes high, occupies him, and then left the space. And then that's where the second goal came from. So when they pulled this out, and they tried it a couple of times, but it paid dividend in the second half. So they pulled them to one side and then switched to this side. No, when they started moving back across while the ball was traveling, then the number 9 now got free. And the attacking midfielder went here and drew attention from the centre half. They lost the number 9 here. They lost the number 9. He got into the space between the wing back and the centre half here, headed home here. But overall, the Mexican team was much more dominant. They pressed. Another significant feature was the rate at which they press and counter press. And South Africa failed to realize that this is not our best day in terms of playing out from the back. And they continued to do it. And they pressed them, won the ball, and scored. And they still continued. And it got worse at them after the red cards and stuff. But Mexico, I think, with the crowd, getting the early goal, I think that was where everything went downhill. The early goal and the fans.
Stay where you are, Coach. I want to bring in Tyrone Marshall, who we have Brent Sancho, for example, who we have on Zoom. As we told you, we introduced him earlier. Brent, of course, a member of Trinidad and Tobago's 2006 World Cup team. Brent, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, so Brent, I don't know how much of Coach Thomas's breakdown you just heard, but clearly we know there was a breakdown for South Africa in this contest today. From your perspective, what really went wrong for the South Africans?
I think Coach Thomas is spot on. There was significant overload in the middle of the park. South Africa never adapted to what the Mexicans did. I think the surprising thing for me is that if you looked at Mexico over the last 3 or so years, leading up to this World Cup with the new coach Javier Aguirre coming in, he's been very pragmatic, very much an open book as to their approach. So I'm a bit surprised that South Africa didn't take heed. They're a very good pressing and counter-pressing team, the Mexicans, and despite that, South Africa still tried to play out to the back, which was a bit confusing for me. And of course, when you look at the way as Coach Thomas just rightfully displayed that the South African set up, you would have thought they would have gone a bit more direct, which would have given them the opportunity to get up the park a bit faster. But instead, they allowed the Mexicans to suffocate them, something that they are very good at. From there, the mistakes that we've seen from South Africa over the last couple of games started to come to fruition. So it was a very disappointing game from the South Africans' perspective, but take nothing away from the Mexicans. Playing in a home crowd in a very difficult place, and we know the Azteca could be hostile for both the home team and away team, because when you're not on your A game, the Mexican fans let you know as a home team. So you have to give them credit. We knew what they were coming to do. They did it to perfection, and they came away with 3 points.
Yeah, and Victor Stewart is online with us as well. Victor Stewart, of course, a former FIFA referee and former head of the JFF referees department. Victor, I want to talk about the 3 red cards. Unusual for a game in a World Cup, but were they all 3 warranted red cards from your point of view? All right, I think your microphone might be on mute, Victor. So we're not hearing you. If you can just unmute your microphone, Victor.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, great, fantastic. Were there 3 warranted red cards in your opinion?
Thanks, Jordan. I'm happy to be here with you. I have to support the referee on all 3 occasions. The first red card in the 28th minute for Dogson, the attacker was goal bound with nobody between himself and the goalkeeper. He was fouled. Watching the game live, I was hoping that, I thought it was a penalty, because the actual foul started outside the penalty area but ended in the penalty area. What I can assume from where I was is that VAR would have given check complete. The defender was not challenging for the ball in that scenario. So once he commits a foul outside the penalty area, it's an automatic red card for denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity. I will go to the third red card before I mention the second one. The third one is almost the same thing. We display football understanding. If that South African player had gotten by that defender, his next action would be a shot on goal, which is regarded as an opportunity to score. There's no guarantee that he would have scored, but the opportunity to take a shot on goal was denied, and so I support the referee.
Okay.
In the second scenario, the one that he didn't call a foul, but he went to VAR. Obviously, VAR prompted him and said, okay, you need to take a look at this. That's when he go to the on-field monitor to check. So there was obvious holding. But what I saw, and not clearly so, was the hand in the face of the opponent. We have a variable in football that we refer to as a second action. So it is striking above the shoulder, not challenging for the ball, could be regarded as violent conduct because the ball was not in playing distance, and so the red card. These are things that FIFA is trying to cut out of the game. Why would you want to strike a player in the face and you're not challenging for the ball? So from a referee perspective, I have to support all three red cards based on law and based on tournament advice.
Thank you.
And setting the tone for the competition.
Thank you for educating me and enlightening my darkness, Victor, because I'm one of the typical fans who is always blaming the referee and saying, what kind of red card that is? Full red card, what kind of ref this? But your explanations have enlightened me a little bit more, and I'm sure have enlightened some of our viewers. Let's take a quick break.
I just want to say one more thing, Jordan.
After the break, I want to come back to it, Victor. Let's take a quick break on Fan Central Extra Time. When we come back, we get back to some more of those comments, and then we move on with our analysis and previewing of Game 2, which will come up right after our show.
Match link up, Fan Central full up. Me team win, every bad cover lift up. Them a silly billy. Me carry real bad team, not a illy billy. Now bandwagon to the thing, now bother switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty gritty. School silly billy. Now bother tell me boy.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer.
Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want?
Start your journey with a Jane Bank Small Business Loan, with small business loans with as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million.
The time is 8:30.
Hi, I am Candy Pang.
What a guan?
What a guan?
That's a guan.
What a guan? What a guan?
What a guan? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
And that's a guan for what a guan?
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation. Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer.
Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want?
Match link up, Fan Central full up. Me team win, every bad cover lift up. Them a silly billy. Me carry real bad team, not a illy billy. Now bandwagon to the thing, now bother switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty gritty. School silly billy. Now bother tell me boy your team and them na make the semi. Game sweet, girl I call it sugar daddy. CVM TV for everybody.
All right, welcome back now to Fan Central Extra Time. Of course, The greatest show on earth kicked off today with Mexico defeating South Africa by 2-0 in Mexico City. It's the stadium that we famously refer to as the Azteca. I don't think they call it the Azteca anymore, Coach, but everybody knows the stadium that we're talking about. We haven't mentioned altitude and those things and how it can affect players and affect games. It's not easy to play Mexico in Mexico City. And by the way, a bit of trivia, Mexico now becomes the only country to have hosted the World Cup on 3 separate occasions. So, you know, a bit of history there for Mexico. Of course, they're co-hosts this time with the USA and Canada. So before the break, Victor Stewart, former FIFA referee and former head of the JFF referees department, was just opining on the 3 red cards in the game. He says the referee was justified in all 3 red cards, of course, 2 to South Africa and 1 to Mexico. There's another point you wanted to make, though, Victor, before I cut you off.
Yes, and this is just by way of advising the viewers, the public generally. In the case of the first red card, if that foul had occurred inside the penalty area, it would still be a red card and a penalty because the defender was not challenging for the ball. It was holding, pushing from behind. If the scenario was different where he was making a genuine challenge for the ball, then the decision would have been a penalty and a yellow card.
Yeah.
That's very important for viewers to understand a red card vis-a-vis a yellow card for a dogso, denying obvious goal scoring opportunity when there's a penalty. The other point is that whatever happens outside the penalty area, whether it's a legitimate challenge or not, if it's an obvious goal scoring opportunity, it is still a red card.
Okay, yeah, you made an important distinction because wasn't it a case where FIFA had changed the rule not so long ago about the last man and about not punishing a team? Was it triple punishment? Player gets sent off and banned for the next game plus a penalty?
Right. So FIFA had moved away from that maybe about 5 or 6 years now, where if the referee deemed that the player had made a genuine attempt to play the ball, that is, the ball was in playing distance and he could have played it. However, let's say he was late and he committed a foul. Originally, with a dogso situation, it would have been a penalty red card. But the wisdom of FIFA and IFAB is that if I awarded you a penalty, I return the goal scoring opportunity to you. So it would be unfair to punish the player twice. That is, sending him off and award a penalty. The case is different, Jordan, if you are not making an attempt to play the ball. If you are pushing or holding and you're not making a genuine attempt to play the ball, it is a red card.
Okay, got you. With you there. Hope our viewers are with you as well. And stop cussing.
I hope for John public.
Stop cussing the referees too much. Stop cussing them out too much. By the way, I just want to remind our viewers that they can get involved in the conversation. Send us a WhatsApp on 876-833-0897 or message us on Instagram or Facebook at CVM_television. And of course, just to remind you as well that we are live on YouTube. We are on CVM TV News. All right, so of course we do, and yeah, there is our number, 1-876-833-0897. Just send us a WhatsApp, DM us on CVM_television on Instagram or Facebook. Of course, we have the match between South Korea and Czechia coming up after our show. That will kick off at 9 p.m. Jamaica time. But, you know, we talk about fans and we talk about cussing referees and so on, and some fans think they know everything about football, you know. And we have one in studio with us, and I told you that Rashida was going to be playing a role in the fan corner because she's another one who thinks she knows everything about football. I've seen her on YouTube and I've seen her on her Instagram page, and she always has a lot to say. So let's see what she has to say now. Rashida, I want you to talk to your guest over there. He's Janoy Swift Stewart, right? Always on Twitter making a bag of noise. So firstly, I want both of you to opine on this whole red card situation. Rashida, let me start with you first.
Thank you, Jordan. I'm a fan who's not particularly concerned about red cards and decisions, because at the end of the day it's final and whatever the referee says goes. And in this match particularly, I didn't see anything that warranted for us to have our stakes out and be like no and all of that. I do think it's kind of appalling how it's the most red cards in the opening game when the last World Cup had 4 overall.
Yeah.
And so my takeaway is, given the technology that we have and refereeing across every footballing sphere and space has always been controversial. So I'm not necessarily tickled by this in any way, shape or form.
Yeah. Swift, you, in terms of those red cards, are you more enlightened now after what the referee Stewart said, or do you still think that maybe one of those red cards was not warranted?
I mean, I definitely have to share the same sentiment as Rashida, and based on the nature of the law, right, that's why what I usually go by, the nature of the law. So a lot of times we might think that red cards aren't really necessary for certain plays, but based on the nature of the law, then you would have to go back and say, well, it's a red card. Like, for example, Barcelona, Kubarsi with Simeone against Atletico Madrid. That was similar to the first challenge and the first red card. So the moment I saw the referee blew his whistle, I was like, yeah, he's definitely off the field. So, based on the nature of the law, I would definitely have to agree with the referee and Rashida as well.
Well, you see people, they must say that knowing about when go on Twitter is a different thing. Different thing. Anyway, there was a fake jersey bust, and it was a massive bust. So I want to take a look at that and then respond to that now.
Police service is proactively targeting crimes that tend to spike during major sporting events, including the sale of fraudulent merchandise. Today, I can announce that as part of this investigation, our officers seized thousands of knockoff sports merchandise, some you see here, including jerseys and flags, and made 2 arrests for fraud over $5,000 and several other charges.
Wow, for how much money? That's a lot of money, coach. Yeah. But the funny thing is, I think people kind of just think, okay, well, it's a jersey. A jersey's a jersey, and I look for the cheapest one. So let's and I'll wear a jersey. Yeah, right. But I tell you what, it's serious business because, of course, FIFA and the authorities are trying to protect the rights of those who are selling the sponsors and stuff like that. And they're selling the authentic jerseys, and they've invested billions
in supporting
into producing these jerseys. And so you can't just run around and just buy a jersey from anywhere. You have to look at the authentic one. My producer says, I wonder if Swift and Rashida are wearing authentic jerseys.
Yes, they are. Oh gosh.
I really hope they are. What do you think about that jersey bust though, Swift? I mean, I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of people in Jamaica right now who are probably just walking around in some counterfeit jerseys thinking everything is all right? We'll probably make a massive bust here too.
Yeah, most definitely, and it's something that I chimed in on Twitter, funnily enough, because I remember when I purchased my jersey from Adidas, by the way, 100 US.
100% authentic.
Yeah, 100 US, I paid, just want to put that out there, right? And I was saying, well, persons were selling the same jersey for like $6,000 and $7,000, so I'm like, wait, which jersey me buy it, So it's something that I definitely agree on, and I think they need to chime in on, because at the end of the day, the sponsors need to make their money, and some people generally think that they're purchasing like a genuine jersey, so I think it's something that they definitely have to chime in on. And by the way, guys, Adidas have a 50% sale going on also, and you can get in the Jamaica jersey.
Free promo.
Free promo, yeah. But Rashida, I don't know. It's also tricky because I think maybe there needs to probably be more education about which jersey is authentic and which jersey is fake, because some people might be buying really thinking that this is an authentic jersey. Now, a lot of people know that jerseys cost $10,000-$15,000. They might think that they can buy one for $7,000, $6,000. So I don't know. There probably needs to be more education around that. Haiti's jersey. What's that, Mr. Producer? We have Haiti's jersey was rejected. So we want to take a look at that as well. That's an interesting story.
Political. So for the Haitian 2026 World Cup jersey,
They have a symbol in the corner representing the Haitian Revolution and the fight for independence, with an image of a man holding up the flag representing their freedom. Mind you, this is their history. This is their history. The FIFA World Cup is saying it's too political. They have not been able to play on their turf for God knows how long. They haven't made it to the FIFA World Cup in over 52 years. When they finally have something going for them, this is what happens?
Yeah. Let me tell you something, and I said this yesterday, that a World Cup always comes with a lot of controversy. And I mean, it's also for the Olympic Games, any major tournament, there's going to be a lot of stories flying around. And, you know, I mean, with this one being played, especially in the US, you know, it's going to attract that kind of attention and the media storm and everything. I mean, Brent, you were at the World Cup in 2006. Mind you, that was in Germany. Do you remember all of these off-the-field stuff that popped up and whether there was significant controversy surrounding the World Cup, whether before, during, or after?
Certainly not like this one. Germany seems to be a better roses compared to what we're seeing here now. I know leading into the World Cup, there was some concerns that it relates to the racial side of things in terms of you know, the German fans, but they were terrific hosts. I mean, they really welcomed all countries with open arms. Trinidad, in particular, being the smallest country at that time, qualifying, and German fans took to us. Of course, with the close encounter against England, they loved us even more. So yeah, it was a good experience. I think Trinidad and Tobago was able to go out there and show the Germans our culture, and they appreciated that as well. So it was very much different to what we're seeing right now. You know, normally we have a bit of activity outside of the pitch when it comes up to a World Cup, but I don't recall ever in my lifetime knowing the amount of controversies and storylines that are coming out of the World Cup off the field before the World Cup has even started. And we've not even discussed star players and possibilities. It's been everything about all the extracurricular activities off the pitch. So yeah, it's been a bit of an eye-opener. And normally when the football starts, things change a bit. Remember, they had some challenges in Qatar about, of course, the workforce that they were utilizing, but nothing like what we've seen so far in this World Cup. As I said, once the ball starts rolling and the game starts playing, you hope that changes and the focus starts to be on the actual football on the pitch.
Yeah, let's see. Of course, you talked about not being able to separate the politics from the sport. Gianni Infantino actually addressed that today, talking about the Omar Artan, the Somali referee who was turned back, and several other issues. We're going to take a break on Fan Central Extra Time. When we come back, we want to chat more about the off-the-field controversy, but we also want to preview the match that's coming up between South Korea and Czechia. Stay with us.
Match link up, Fan Central full up. Me team win, every bad cover lift up. Them a silly billy. Me carry real bad team, not a illy billy. Now bandwagon to the thing, now bad a switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty gritty. School silly billy. Now bad a tell me about your team and them to make the semi. Game sweet, girl I call it sugar daddy. CVM TV, for everybody.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer.
Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want?
Every dream conquered is another dream game. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people that I say we are march up the dance. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't fit it down. Shine your lights on.
This week on Farming Forward, we're coming to you from, whoa, look at that,
Real? We're coming to you from Riverdale in St. Catherine. And we'll be talking to that young entrepreneur you just saw. He was picking breadfruits, but I can tell you about the chickens that he's been caring for all these years. He'll be talking to us about real yard chickens. Farming forward. We're brought to you by Nutrimix. Tell me, Nutrimix? The big feed. The big feed.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer.
Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch.
What about you? What rule would you want?
We full up, match link up, fan central full up. Me team win, every bad cover lift up. Them a silly billy, me carry real bad team that a illy billy. Now bandwagon to the thing, now bother switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty gritty.
All right, it's Fan Central Extra Time, and we are powered here by Pepsi as we take you through this busy summer of football where the expectation is that we will reach a crescendo on July 19. By the way, there could be a big game pending. That whole Cristiano Ronaldo versus Lionel Messi debate could be settled. No, I don't think that will be settled in one game. But it could be in what, round of 16, I think? I think it's round of 16. So, yeah, round of 16. They might be on a collision course. How cool would that be? You know, if that happened, people are going to start to say that they set up the World Cup. They're going to say it was fixed, just to get Messi and Ronaldo on the pitch at the same time. That would be great, though. That would be a fantastic spectacle. Nevertheless, I mean, both of them are now out of their prime, but still playing some fantastic football. And I mean, Portugal versus Argentina could be a mega clash, really.
Massive.
Based on how those two teams are playing. Some people are calling Portugal one of the contenders for winning the World Cup this year. So we'll wait and see. So we're talking about a couple of things off the field before the break. And Brent Sancho knows what it's like to be at a World Cup, and he was talking about the 2006 tournament in Germany. Brent, that England game, I know you don't necessarily have fond memories of it, but you know, if VAR was around back then, Brent, they would have seen when Peter Crouch pulled on your locks before scoring that goal, and then that goal would have been overturned.
Something that could happen with VAR, but yeah, the chances of it happening would have probably been there. But I think that's why VAR has been brought on board, really, to correct those sorts of ills in the game. It's something that I know fans are still getting used to. I think, as Victor rightfully pointed out, it is something that the referees utilize to perfect their decision making, and it's really there to provide a safety net. And we have to embrace it because it improves results and improve decision making, and decisions is ultimately what decides a win or loss for a game. And we all know, and we've seen some poor decisions. As you rightfully mentioned, Peter Crouch was one of them.
I knew you would say that, Brent. It might also be a reason to either not wear locks or just to wrap it up in a World Cup match, so that it doesn't become a target for attackers or defenders. But as you said, they've now stamped that out of the game. A pity it came so late for you. Coach Jermaine Thomas, I want to send you back to the board as we preview Czechia versus South Korea, because some people are not necessarily looking at this as a big contest, but I just want you to show us how either team is likely to set up in this contest. Who's who?
All right, blue, Czechia, you probably get, you get a more 4-4-2 system. Probably flat 4, box midfield, etc. Two strikers, you probably get that. I'm thinking South Korea might in red. You might get, the thing with South Korea, they are sometimes flexible. They change a whole lot, hard to predict. So they can switch systems. So sometimes you see 3, sometimes you see 4. And they're a transitional team. They play very, very fast counter-attacking football. You know, they really transition. They funnel behind the ball as quick as possible. While Jackney kind of a more subtle team that plays a little bit slow, organized play through the lines and stuff like that. But Korea will definitely get you on the counter. On the counter. So for them, it changes from a 3 sometimes at the back to sometimes a 4 when they're defending. You get maybe a 4-3-3 from them, 3 across the middle of the pitch. They're in red. 3 across here, and 3 across here. But it is mostly traditional football for Korea.
Yeah, and by the way, the starting lineups are already out because you know the kickoff is in a few minutes.
Right.
But thank you, Coach. I wanted to invite you to sit again because I want to bring Rashida and Swift back in on this discussion. Rashida, I mean, many people may not know about these two teams. Where do you see this one going, and what type of football are you expecting from Czechia and from South Korea?
So coming into this match, I think a lot of persons would, again, don't care to watch the fixture. It's late at night, where we are in the world, it's one of the later fixtures that you're necessarily looking at it. It's not the big powerhouse, but I do think these two teams have something to offer in this World Cup. South Korea has always performed well in the group stages. They're always entertaining to watch. Czech Republic, if you watch a lot of the Euros, they also perform well in the early stages, and they're both two teams who are coming off very, I would say, fairly good friendlies, and they would have scored the goals, get the feeling ready and vibed. And so we're looking at Heung-min Son on South Korea, who also has a lot to prove. I think you can say this is his last dance World Cup in his career, so he has to step up big for South Korea. Patrick Schick on Czech Republic side, he also has a lot to prove after that incredible wonder goal. So he has to follow up on that. I'd say for this match, I'm going for a draw, an electrifying draw that is. I don't think it's going to be as boring as people might think. These two teams have something to prove coming in.
Yeah, and Swift, any other names that we should look out for outside of Patrick Schick and outside of Heung-min Son, who could probably electrify us in this match, or is it just those two as the main protagonists?
I mean, you can look on also Wang Yi-chang, right, who, you know, if you follow in the Premier League, you know who he is, right, for Korea as well. So you can look up for certain names. You have at the back, you know, Kim Min-jae, right? So yeah, so you have a couple players there that you can look to expect. I think, as Rashida said, it's going to be an exciting match, right? I think, you know, otherwise from a 1-1 draw, it might just be a 2-1 to South Korea.
All right, well, you know, I like when we get these matches because everybody's a neutral, unless you're from South Korea or Czech Republic, right? So you get to watch really just as a fan. Do you have any predictions for this one, Coach Jermaine Thomas?
I'm thinking South Korea. I'm thinking 2-0. The pace at which they play sometimes can be very, very frightening. And we rate at which they counter press as well upon losing the ball. Really get to you as quick as possible, and I think that can be a little bit difficult for the Czechs to deal with.
Brent Sancho, your thoughts?
No, I think most was covered. You have to take into account in this one, of course, the humidity in Mexico and of course playing in Guadalajara City. It is a factor. As mentioned there by Coach, of course South Korea tries to play at a very high intensity. Whether or not they can keep that up for the 90 minutes plus would be intriguing to see. I think one thing that needs to be mentioned, of course, Czechia is a team that's very dangerous in set pieces, and so they would try to use the aerial advantage for this one. I think it would be a cagey affair simply because both teams know a positive result could see them into the next round. Of course, being very well aware of Mexico already attaining 3 points. So a 1-1 draw seems the most likely outcome for this one because of that nature. I do think South Korea, as mentioned with some of the names that would have been mentioned before, have genuine quality within their squad. But as I said, there's so many factors outside of the tactical battle that we may see between both teams that may have an impact on it. And I just feel at the end of the day, that might just call it a stalemate, and I can see it probably pattering out to a 1-1 draw.
All right, we're winding down on Fan Central Extra Time, but just before we go, There are going to be another couple of games tomorrow as well. So I just want to go around the board and get some ideas or some predictions from our panelists on those games. Canada, Bosnia, Herzegovina. Quickly, coach.
Canada.
Canada.
Right.
Swift.
Canada.
I think we're going to see our first draw for the World Cup. Very boring game, I'm expecting.
Okay, so that one is at 2. We'll talk about the one at 8 tomorrow. That is between USA and Paraguay. Brent, Canada, Bosnia, Herzegovina, for you? Brent? All right, we lost him. All right, so that's where we're going to have to wrap up Fan Central Extra Time for today. Of course, we will be back with you tomorrow in the evening, and we will be asking you, by the way, to send in your jingles.